I mean, what is this in an economic system that simply can't solve a fairly obvious problem?
So is it that we don't have enough, Rick, or is it that there isn't the will to do it to fit the needs of the people, right?
Oh.
I would argue that we'll never build our way out of this problem. What we need to do is think a little differently and use vacant spaces, right? And I always use the foreclosure crisis during that time period because it's a key indicator on how we operate as a society, right? During the financial crisis, there were, in 2010, 14.4 million vacant homes, 2 million homeless people. So you just put the homeless people in the people's homes. Problem solved, right? I don't think we can build our way out of this, and I say that because you only have an infinite amount of land, and how you're going to start to build New York cities all over the country. Not everybody wants these towers in their particular states or cities. So there is an organized effort. Picture the Homeless has started to push legislation within the New York City Council where they have to do a vacant census count, which I think is important. And now they're pushing to fine landlords who keep those buildings vacant for a certain amount of time. I think you have to disincentivize people from doing the wrong thing. It sounds a little tricky the way I just laid that out, but I really think you have to penalize people, right? Because it's what's our relationship to space. We have to think differently, and then it's a little bit difficult in a capitalist society, in a society that bases itself on profit. There are some elected members of Congress, particularly 4 women, who are being targeted now because they think outside of the box. But I think that's the direction we need to go. We need to think about giving people who have a certain income limit a certain subsidy so that they can realize that right to housing that everybody deserves.
Or we ought to have a proper jobs program that gives everybody a meaningful function in our society, helping one another, and pays them a proper salary.
Why not both?
rather than giving some people, I like to pick on Jeffrey Bezos.
Right.
Some people have, hundreds of billions of dollars.
And you give them a subsidy, right?
I mean, it's
and that's so
unbelievable.
the thinking fundamentally is wrong, right? We have a mortgage tax deduction in this country to the tune of about $150 billion a year for people making with incomes of $250,000 or more. If you took that away and put it into public housing, you would start to recreate or regenerate public housing the way it should be. It used to be there for a social purpose, right? So what we're doing in this country is we're subsidizing wealthier people more than we are poor people.
That's been done for a long time.
Absolutely.
And